Hello, this is Corbin Lancer, and this is my presentation for lab number 10. My poster is called The Correlation Between Quality of Sleep and Stress Management of Alma College Students. My rationale for this study is definitely because this was a lab that I needed to do, and I figured that I would study something that really interested me and something that affects me, as stress and sleep are directly correlated in my own life and according to my own health. So I just wanted to see how much it correlates to other people, or how it is in relation to other people. Do other students at Alma College feel the same way that I do? And I felt like it would be a good way to represent or to execute the study that we were currently studying during Lab 5. And that is the work and the info or source that I used. Lab 5.1 and 5.2, it was broken into two, but primarily I stuck with Lab 5.1, as that explained positive correlation, negative correlation, and zero correlation. So I primarily stuck with that, although I did bring in other sources that also explored a lot of what I was studying back in March during Lab 5. My hypothesis was that there would be a strong positive correlation between sleep quality and stress management, especially because of the stress of being a college student and COVID-19. And all of the uncertainty of the day and age that we live in. I thought surely there would be a strong positive correlation. However, as you will see as we progress through this, I was sorely wrong. The participants in my study were active Alma College students located on campus. They were also primarily white, concerning the demographic. And the ages, I wish I had recorded the ages, I didn't, but I know that because they're active students at Alma College, the participants would have been ages 17 to 23 years old. I also felt it important to execute the survey involving people that were on campus. There are a lot of people that are off campus, but the experiences would have been the same. So I felt like it kept it more consistent to stay on campus, and everything was done in person, but safely. And my procedure was I had a piece of paper and a pencil. There were two questions on this piece of paper. And the first question was, how have they been able to, or excuse me, one asked how they had been sleeping, and the second asked how well they had been able to manage stress during this time. I had each participant circle a number from 1 to 5. 1 would be really bad, it would be poor, and 5 would be really good. For example, if you've been sleeping great, or if you weren't stressed at all, it was all just Hakuna Matata, it was amazing, then it would be 5. And my answers were absolutely all over the place. Moving on to the results, as you can see, yes, all of the answers were all over the place. It looks like a shotgun just sprayed a bunch of BBs. There was really no pattern or correlation between any of these points. Obviously, I used a scatter plot graph, and it shows a zero correlation, or R equals 0.00, between the quality of sleep and stress management. And also something interesting to note is I did have 10 participants. There are only 7 points, and I wouldn't call that a problem, but the same thing happened with the graph. This actually was the one that I had drawn out on a whiteboard, and some of the points hit on the same spot. And but I just put them next to each other on the whiteboard, but the program that I used, it just gave me 7 because there were, I believe it was 3 that were the same. So I only have 7 points, but there were 10 participants involved. It's just kind of how the statistics worked out. And in conclusion, my hypothesis was incorrect. The data did not support my hypothesis whatsoever. There's no, according to these students at Alma College, there's no correlation between the quality of sleep that they were getting and stress management. So I think why it didn't work out the way that I thought, because the other articles and journals that I read, which is included at the top, materials and procedure, and in the references, they all seem to show a strong correlation between stress and sleep. My experiment just didn't work out that way, and I think the reason why was, maybe this is just a guess, I don't know for sure. Obviously, it was just my specific 10 people that I picked, but also it was late and they were all in really good moods. So I may have just happened to hit 10 carefree people that were sleeping a lot and sleeping, or at least sleeping really well. I know not everyone needs a lot of sleep, but it just kind of worked out that way. It probably was just the people that I chose. But I still think there is a strong correlation between stress and sleep, just from what the science was showing in the different journals and articles that I read. And things that I could have changed, obviously, it would be nice to, of course, with time constraints and COVID, I only had 10 participants, but to have more, this would be really interesting over like 100 people from different colleges and universities across the globe. And it would be really interesting to do other countries, other ethnicities, just a way wider demographic, because I feel like that would be more representative of the correlation between quality of sleep versus stress management for college students as a whole. Of course, mine was testing specifically Alma College students. And lastly, I think another interesting study would be to test the correlation between sleep and appetite. Do people eat less when they have more sleep, or do they eat more? Yeah, that would definitely be my future directions, or perhaps another study that could actually be done based on what I've done. Same graph, same process, same setup, and I think it would be really interesting. I'm going to sign off now. Thank you so much for everything, and I hope you enjoyed this presentation. Thank you.